Hey guys, so I've been wanting to make this video. These are the brake pads from my S2000, the Hawk Street Race pads I used for one track day. On my S2000 it has about an hour and 45 minutes of track time on them. And I just wanted to show you them to see the wear on them. They actually do have quite a bit of meat left. Of course, all the paint is kind of baked off of them. This was my first track day ever with the car, so they never faded. They were they handled the heat very, very well. However, being my first track day and the car wasn't set up with brand new tires and everything, I probably could have pushed these a lot harder. And I plan to run them this year, and I'm going to do a few more track days with them. Got my set of super accurate Harbor Freight calipers here, and the front brake pads come from Hawk, and they're specified to be 0.622 of an inch thick when they're brand new, so 622 thousandths. Alright, so the front pads I'm going to measure, they're coming in about 560, so they've lost about 62 thousandths of an inch after my first track day. That's very low wear. Like I said, I could have pushed these way harder, but at this rate you should get way more than just a track day out of a set of brake pads. These pads, based on the wear for my first track day, should at least probably last 5 or 6 track days without a doubt. So that's pretty good news. They're pretty durable. I'm just going to measure the other pads I have here as well. These are all from the front still, so when they were brand new it was 622 thousandths. The second set's coming at 570, so about 10 thou different than the first set. This one here is 590. These are the pads from the other side of the caliper, so they might have a little less because they're not on the piston side. So that's 608. So with that being said, this pad only had over like about 15 thousandths of wear for that whole track day. That seems really hard to believe, but I didn't measure these with this caliper before I put them on the car. I'm just going off the manufacturer's website. So when I measure that, it's coming in at about 588. So that's like roughly 30 thousandths wear on the opposite side of the piston in the front caliper. So the outside pads held up a little bit better than the inside pads, but that's expected. So we can move on to the rears. These here are these were spec'd to be 570 thousandths thick from the factory from Hawk, and as you can see, they're still very, very thick. They haven't really actually worn that much just by looking at them visually. Of course, like I said, the paint is all baked off on them. But to measure these, I'm just going to get an edge here. So this one's coming in at 555, so only 15 thousandths of pad wear. Now I'm measuring these from the back of the steel to the pad. That's not the actual pad depth, and if I were to measure the actual pad depth, they're coming in at about 239. So I'm pretty sure when Hawk specs the thickness that they measure from the steel, because there's no way that these wore 300 thousandths of an inch from one track day. That's a ton of pad. So I find that very hard to believe, and they look almost new. So I'm going to go with the fact that I'm going to guess that they measure from the back of the steel, not the steel plate, but the back of the steel casting for the pad to the end of the pad material here. So 550 on the piston side pads on the rear, so that's about 20 thousandths of wear on that one. And then this is the right-left pad, the non-piston side, the opposite side, so that's coming at 566, kind of even to the piston side. So the rears all wore about 20 thousandths of an inch here. The rear left is about 558, and the right rear on the non-piston side right here is coming in at about 562. So very low wear on these pads in the rear of the car. There is minor, like almost looks like a crack through the center, but this pad material is very aggressive, and it's not supposed to hold up very well. But these pads have actually surprised me. They held up very well, and I should at least get 5-6 more track days out of them. So that's my quick review of the Hawk Street Race pads. After using them for one track day, I can see them lasting a lot longer than they have. The rotors are still fine. They're not warped. I have the original rotors on the car, so I'm going to continue to run those until they start to crack or they start to warp. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.